Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today we're unpacking some truly fascinating material that honestly kind of challenges everything we think we know about how long it actually takes to change our lives. We're looking at that wild intersection of psychology, subconscious programming, and of course, the law of assumption. If you've ever felt like you're just stuck in a rut or, that hitting your goals requires years of agonizing uphill struggle, you are absolutely going to love the focused approach we're breaking down today. We're going to look at how a very specific, tiny window of time, literally the moments right before you fall asleep, can be leveraged to reprogram your mind and get you tangible results in record time.
So, I want to pose a pretty bold opening question directly to you. Can miracles begin in just one night? Now, I know, that sounds like an almost impossible premise, right? Our logical brains are completely wired to believe that big, sweeping changes require massive amounts of time. But the material we're examining today suggests something that might actually scare you a little bit, just because of how fast it works. It proposes that rapid, overnight mindset shifts aren't just possible, they are completely natural when you bypass the conscious mind's filters. We're not talking about someday or later, we are talking about right now, immediately.
To really ground our explainer, check out this bold claim from manifestation researcher Mary Kate. When you use this one affirmation, you will see evidence of your manifestation in the next 24 hours or less. I mean, wow, right? But here's the thing. She describes this not as some mystical magic, but as a brilliant psychological trick. It's a method that creates this subtle mental shift, allowing you to totally bypass the usual doubts that constantly sabotage our goals. So this gives us a really clear target for our time together today. We're going to break down exactly what this trick is, why your brain responds to it so insanely fast, and how you can actually test it out for yourself tonight.
Now, what's really interesting about the foundational theory behind all of this is, of course, the law of assumption, a concept popularized by Neville Goddard. Goddard taught this frighteningly powerful truth. He essentially argued that your external reality reshapes itself immediately according to what you assume to be true internally. The exact moment you successfully impress an assumption upon your subconscious mind, your outer world literally has no choice but to rearrange itself to match that inner state. It's not about hoping, it's not about wishing, it's about claiming the feeling of the wish fulfilled right now. But, as we all know, simply deciding to just assume we're successful, way easier said than done.
And that brings us right to the actual mechanics of your brain. There is a massive night and day contrast in how your mind operates depending on the time of day. During your waking hours, your conscious mind is running the show. It rationalizes, it analyzes, and honestly, most importantly, it creates resistance. If you're broke and you tell your conscious mind you're rich, it'll just laugh in your face. But your subconscious mind operates completely differently. It is always listening, always accepting. And here's the absolutely crucial takeaway. It literally cannot separate imagination from reality. To the subconscious, both are absolute law. This is exactly why the sleep window is so critical. As you're drifting off to sleep, your critical conscious mind finally clocks out, leaving the subconscious wide open to receive new instructions without putting up a single fight.
So the crucial point here is that this perfectly explains why standard positive thinking so often falls flat. I mean, a lot of self-help stuff tells you to go look in the mirror and shout, "I am wealthy, I am successful." But as our sources highlight, there's a massive flaw with the "I am" statement when you're in a state of distress. If you're drowning in debt and you stand there saying, "I am wealthy," it creates this huge mental conflict. Your brain immediately pulls up your bank statement and goes, actually, no, you aren't. It feels like you're just lying to yourself, right? Which generates even more resistance and stress. Ultimately, you end up manifesting the feeling of lack rather than the feeling of abundance.
To make these abstract psychological concepts highly relatable, let's look at a real-world case study of a guy named Leo, which was documented by Dr. Joseph Murphy. Leo was going through this severe, just seemingly endless streak of bad luck. We aren't just talking about a minor slump here. He couldn't pay his mortgage. He couldn't even afford basic groceries for his family. His medical expenses had to be covered entirely by his brother. In his own words, his life was an absolute mess. He was so deeply entrenched in a mental state of poverty and failure that standing around saying, "I am successful," would have honestly felt like a cruel joke to his conscious mind.
So Joseph Murphy offered Leo a completely different approach. He didn't just give him, generic encouragement. He introduced him to a precise 5-step process to manifest using the law of assumption. For the very first step, Murphy explained to him, the infinite intelligence within your subconscious can provide all the money you need for financial freedom. Basically, he told Leo that to activate this infinite intelligence, he had to carefully bypass his conscious mind's defenses. Fighting his current reality head-on? Not going to work. He had to sneak the new programming in through the back door.
That's why Murphy gave Leo the sleep lullaby routine. which perfectly forms the crucial next steps of this 5-step manifestation process. Right before knocking out for the night, the exact time when that pesky conscious mind is powering down, Leo was told to do the following. Step 2, lay completely flat on his back in bed. Step 3, become totally relaxed and quiet, just letting all the physical stresses of the day completely melt away. And Step 4, repeat just 2 abstract words, slowly and feelingly, over and over again like a lullaby until he literally fell asleep. No long paragraphs, no complicated visual gymnastics, and most importantly, 0 I am statements to trigger a mental argument.
And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer simplicity of it all, because the 2 words Leo used were just wealth, success. That's the whole shebang. Not I have wealth or I am a success, just the concepts themselves. But Murphy also taught that if single words don't quite resonate with you, you can use a 21-second prayer or simply repeat the magic phrase, "Isn't it wonderful?" Whether it's wealth and success or isn't it wonderful, the goal isn't to boldly declare a fact, but to capture the exact feeling of the wish already fulfilled as your very last waking thought. Leo repeated his chosen words quietly, easily, and feelingly as his final conscious act before falling asleep, ensuring that this exact feeling was what his subconscious magnified the very next day.
So, why does this actually work so effectively? Well, it is all about bypassing resistance. When you just dwell on abstract ideas like wealth and success, or ask a totally rhetorical question like, "Isn't it wonderful?" you completely short-circuit the mental conflict. You aren't explicitly claiming that you currently possess these things in physical reality, so your brain's logic filter doesn't trip that huge "you're lying to yourself" alarm. You're simply inviting the essence, the pure vibration of those concepts into your mind. Because there's no resistance, the subconscious mind acts like a giant sponge, just easily absorbing these ideas and locking them in as absolute law while you sleep. Let's move to and see how this builds, because after rigorously following these steps and doing this lullaby for just a few nights, Leo experienced a rapid, almost unbelievable financial miracle. For 10 straight years, he had owned a piece of land that he couldn't afford to pay off and just couldn't manage to sell. It was a massive, stressful burden, but after impressing the concepts of wealth and success onto his subconscious, the outer world completely rearranged itself. Out of nowhere, he received a sudden, totally unexpected $25,000 cash offer for that exact lot. The buyers needed it for a new building and wanted to start construction right away. I mean, the timing was impeccable. His simple internal shift manifested a completely unexpected external solution. Now, to really lock this in and round out the 5-step manifestation cycle, the source material offers some super actionable advice for your waking hours too. Step 5 is all about making it a habit. When you wake up, repeat your chosen lullaby again for about 5 minutes. Do this maybe 3 or 4 times throughout your day. You don't have to force it or stress over it, just casually repeat the words and allow the feeling of success to naturally well up within you. You are actively training your brain to vibrate at the frequency of answered prayers, keeping that subconscious channel wide open and highly receptive all day long.
Ultimately, this whole thing boils down to this incredibly profound summary quote from our sources. You get what you believe. Your external world is really simply a mirror of your internal beliefs and assumptions. As within, so without. If you constantly feel lack, you're going to attract lack. If you intentionally dwell on wealth and success, you literally become a magnet for it. The universe doesn't judge. It simply rearranges itself to perfectly match the dominant instructions you feed into your subconscious mind.
Well, we have covered a lot of fascinating ground today about the hidden mechanisms of the mind, Leo's incredible 5-step manifestation framework, and the sheer, undeniable power of the moments right before we sleep. By bypassing our logical resistance, we truly can rewrite our reality. So as we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a provocative question to chew on tonight when your head finally hits that pillow. What 2 words will shape your tomorrow? I challenge you to try the sleep lullaby routine tonight. Thank you so much for learning with me, and I'll see you in the next one.